So on the agenda today is first over here behind me, I have like a sorting station or packing station, you can call it. I have some Ziploc bags. I have a box of chicken thighs that I bought from Maple Lodge Factory. And I also have 3 packs of chicken breasts that I just recently got from Real Canadian Superstore. Since I bought these bigger size packs, I want to portion them out into maybe like 2-pound bags. It's just easy for me to defrost at the time that I need it, because obviously if I have all of this meat out, it's gonna go bad. With this list that we have over here, I'm just writing down the main ingredients that I want to prep. So anything I think is gonna go bad or I just know I need to use it. So one of those is bok choy. And then over here, I'm basically saying I want to split or pre-portion the chicken breast, the chicken thighs, and I have a big bag of spinach. And then I also want to actually prep some chicken thighs. So I want to do chicken thighs with my standard chipotle marinade, which I use for tacos and stuff like that. And then chicken breast, I want to do my standard grade chicken that I use for salads. And then I actually want to try a new recipe from Damn Delicious. I actually got the recommendation from another YouTuber, Simply Manders. So I like cilantro, I like chicken thighs. So I'm like, you know what, let's just try it. Although these two are my tried and trues, and honestly, if it's not broke, don't fix it. After that is just edamame and sweet potato. And then if I have time, I'm going to shred some carrots and then maybe make some quinoa. For step one, as I mentioned, I'm basically just going to pack some of the chicken thighs and the bulk chicken breast that I got, and I'm just going to pre-portion it into different bags. So yes, I know I'm using a lot of Ziploc and plastic, but the only thing is I can't fit a bunch of Tupperwares in the freezer and make all of this meat fit, you know what I mean? So you basically want to lay it as flat as possible, take out the air bubbles, and then go from there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a bag and see how much fits in one of these bags. I'll start with the chicken thighs. So I'm basically going to take a couple. I ideally would like it to be maybe like a few pounds in each, and that way whether my mom's using it for cooking or my brothers are using it for cooking, we know this one serving has 2 pounds in it. I think it's going to end up being 2 pounds, so that's what we'll stick to. And you want to make sure the bag can close, and you can close all the bags together at the end. So I got the box of chicken thighs from Maple Lodge Factory, and one case is 5 kg, and that was $48.80. So I think it worked out to be $4.43 a pound. At Terra, I noticed that it went up in price. Before it was $3.99 and now it's $4.29. So I wanted to see what the price was at Maple Lodge, and just got it from there. Okay, so I finished with the chicken thighs. I have 6 bags of less than 2 pounds, and I'm going to use the bag right now. And all you have to do when you close it, which I'm going to close them all together at the end, is just lay them out flat, get the air out, and the flatter the better, and it will just defrost faster. Because if I have it like a chunk of this, or if I have it like a chunk like this, obviously the thinner one is going to defrost faster. So I'll close all the bags at once in a second, and I'm just going to do the same exact thing with chicken breast. And I could also just do it in a way where I say I'm going to do 3 pieces, but I'd rather know the pounds because some of the recipes call for a specific amount. I'm going to just close these bags. I'm just going to take the air out, make it as flat as possible, and just like that, step 1 is complete. So I ended up getting 6 bags of chicken thighs, and I have about 5.5 bags of chicken breast. This is not a full bag, but I'm gonna take some right now. So I'm gonna just start with 1 pack of chicken thighs, and then maybe I'll split it in half, and I'll do 1 pack of chicken breast because I really like the great chicken recipe. Another tip for you when you are meal prepping, always start with either the hardest or the easiest. So normally I would start with the Greek chicken recipe because that is the recipe that takes the longest to make. I always just start with that one first. But I noticed that I have this chipotle chicken marinade in the fridge, and it's one of the things I'm gonna make. So I'm like, you know what, let me just have a win really quickly, especially after the first win of doing this packaging of the chicken that we bought, just to make sure it doesn't go bad. This is a second easy win that I can have in like 10.5 seconds, and that's just gonna keep building momentum for me to be like, okay, this is not that bad. Within this much time I've done this, which was this much time I've done this. Basically put the marinade in the fridge, and usually it kind of solidifies. So what I do is break it up with a spoon, and then BJ and I were just talking, and he said to add like some type of vinegar. So I'm gonna add some balsamic vinegar, kind of loosen it up a little. Chicken thighs are already boneless and skinless, but there are bits and pieces of fat. So as I just cut them out, I'm gonna put them into a little dish because I'm just curious, did this actually work out to 2 pounds? Because if I know my brain, but and then I'm just gonna add the marinade, cling wrap it, and call it a day. is the balsamic vinegar I'm gonna use. I think he said that he got it at Longo's. Yep, it is Longo's. So apparently you need a little bit of acidity to kind of make the meat a little bit more tender. So we're gonna try. And the thing about these types of marinade is they smell so good. Like, it just smells even bomber. So I have the marinade, pretty happy with that. Move this out of the way. Make sure you have a sharp knife. And then if you are gonna weigh it out, like how much you have, like it doesn't really matter to me. When I cook it or track it in MyFitnessPal, I track it as cooked chicken thighs or cooked chicken breast or whatever it is. I didn't actually end up using all the chicken. I have more chicken there, but I'm gonna use that for the second recipe. So this works out to be about a pound. So I'm just gonna slowly add in spoon by spoon. So again, keep mixing this because it can solidify very easily. And I just want to have a good coating, and honestly, I'm gonna end up using my hands to move it around because that's truly the best way. I've tried with the glove before, but it's not realistic. So obviously because I put this in here, I cannot put that back in the marinade. So I'm gonna mix with my hands, see how it is, and if I need to, I will add more with the different spoon. So let's try this. Okay, I think this is good. Just gonna work it, and then I will keep you guys posted. Okay, so squish, squish, squish. I don't know if that sounds weird to you guys, the noises, but you just gotta become one with the meat, or become one with it. And I'm so sorry if you're vegan. I'm just trying to get my protein out here. Okay, do a smell test. Does it smell good? It smells bomb. Then do like a looking test. Like there's a couple pieces of chicken, like over there in the corner, that don't look like they're well coated. So I'm just taking marinade from the bottom and bringing it to the top. Just repeat and make sure everything is evenly marinated. I cut them kind of into like as thin as possible as well, because A, it will cook faster, and B, I want every single ounce of chicken to be flavored. You know what I mean? And then I'm gonna set this aside, wash my hands. Okay, so same thing over here. I'm basically just going to trim off any excess fat. I really didn't do a good job last time of trimming off the excess fat. It's kind of tedious work and I'm kind of lazy, but it will add more flavor to the end product. So I'm just kind of cutting it into smaller pieces, like where the fat parts are. Okay, so this is the workstation beside me. So next tip is that I would try to take out as many of the ingredients as you can. So I just had the recipe card beside me and I read through the ingredients, and I also took out the utensils I would need. For example, for the cilantro, I would need a 1 cup measuring. And then I also have some tablespoons over here. I literally brought over the salt, pepper, olive oil, and then I have the bowl that I'm gonna work in. So I am missing a whisk. I'm gonna grab that. And basically it just makes it easier. I'm gonna put it all away when I'm done with this recipe, but it's easier to get it instead of going back and forth trying to find it. Like it took me forever to find this cumin. So now I have it here and I can just, you know. Starting off, I'm going to just take some of the cilantro. I think you can use the stems too, but for now. So the recipe actually called for 2 teaspoons of lime zest, but I only used the zest of 1 lime. And it also asked for 2 teaspoons of chili powder, which I don't have. So I'm gonna use 1 teaspoon of cayenne pepper and 1 teaspoon of paprika. The recipe also calls for 1 teaspoon of ground cumin, 1 teaspoon kosher salt, and 1 teaspoon freshly ground pepper. So I just cleaned up a little around me, but I want to show you what the recipe looks like before, sorry, what the marinade looks like before I do anything to it. So I'm gonna see, like this does not seem very liquidy. So I'm probably, okay, it's an interesting aroma of flavors, but like I said, it doesn't seem like, I'm so tempted to add a little bit of more olive oil. You know what, I'm going to just a little smidgen. Okay, so that's what it looks like. I'm a little skeptical. I just feel like either it's gonna be really overpowering because of the fact that I used the full marinade and only half the amount of chicken, but I really feel like if I use the full amount of chicken, there's no way it would have covered. So it's either gonna be really strong in flavor, like the salt and stuff, or it's not gonna be marinated enough. And the smell, it's not as cilantro-y as I thought, and it's not as, I would say it's like limey mixed with spices. I don't know, it's very interesting. So I'm excited to try that tomorrow, and it's about 9:33. So let's see what else we can get done now. Okay, so I'm finishing off the meal prep by cooking the chicken that I marinated. So while that's preheating, I'm basically just going to zhuzh it and get like all the water that's at the top, mix that around. This is probably a little dangerous with one hand, but hopefully it will stay. So take one of these, put it over here, and you should hear that sizzle sound if you do the preheat function. Try to lay it as flat as possible. Let me finish and I'll show you guys. So that's what it looks like. I didn't put all of it in just so that I can have one flat layer. So I'm gonna put it in like that, press the power button, and choose the chicken function, which is over here, and it does 380 for 25 minutes. And I believe halfway through, it's gonna ask you to flip, and if it doesn't, I'm gonna flip it myself. Okay, so we're gonna take a quick look. This is at 15 minutes. Just flip them all over. I'll show you in a sec, okay? And that's everything flipped up. Okay, that's the first batch out. It looks a little overcooked, but... Okay, so next up, in the same container that we cooked the chicken in, because it's only me that's eating it, I'm just gonna put the sweet potatoes without dropping it everywhere. And then I did not season it, so what I'm going to do is grab some olive oil. I'm literally using my stomach to balance it. That's talent, I don't know what is. Just a couple swirly swirls. And then we're going to add pepper. Using this. I'm going to swirl it around so it's okay. And then this. And then I'm just going to go like this. And then next time when I come back to shake it some more, I'll add another bit of seasoning. So push it all the way in, press power, and then there's a potato button here. French fry? Nope, there. I'm gonna play, and then it's gonna halfway tell you to shake it. So on the back burner here, I'm basically gonna make some quinoa, and to speed up the process, I'm just gonna use some of this water that I previously boiled. And unfortunately, I don't have a 1 cup measuring, so I have to use this 6 times to get 2 cups of water for 1 cup of quinoa. I'm gonna take this bouillon cube and just put that over here. So as you can see, at the same time, we have a lot of things going on. So that's quinoa. As soon as it comes to a boil, I'm gonna turn it off, put a lid on it, and leave it on the side for a few minutes. And then over here is the chicken. I'm gonna turn it soon. And over here, we have 13 minutes left on the sweet potato. I'm pretty sure in 12 it would tell us to shake, so I'll wait. And then I'm gonna add salt, pepper. Let's just look at them. Okay, so there you go. That's what they look like. Some olive oil, just for the last bit. Some more pepper. Doing some work in the backyard, hence the noise. And then over here, some salt. So you're gonna do shaky shake. And some of the salt and pepper and oil falls to the ground, so just shake really well. Put it back in and play. Okay, so see how it's coming to a rapid boil? I'm gonna just fluff it one more time and I'm gonna turn off the heat right now and cover and move to the side. Okay, and I just move this to the front burner to make life easier. So these have a good enough crust for me on the outside. BJ would say they're overcooked, but I like it like this. And so I'm gonna take them off, cover with aluminum, and then cook the last bit that we have. Okay, so the last two things on the agenda are the bok choy, edamame, and finish this quinoa. So when I realized that I covered it and it wasn't going anywhere, I read the instructions again and that was wrong. So once it comes to a boil, you're supposed to reduce the heat to medium-low, cover, and let sit for 10-15 minutes. So I would say it's been 5 minutes. I'm just gonna cover it after I fluff it one more time and keep a good eye on it because I always mess this part up. And then over here, this pan, both to reduce the amount of dishes we wash and because of all this flavor, I'm gonna cook the bok choy, the bok choy in there. Next up, we're going to wash the bok choy. Comes in a bag like this. And it's a pretty leafy vegetable, so I feel like there's always some dirt in between. Probably a little too much in one tray. Or maybe I'll cut them first. I'll cut them first and then I'll wash it. See how lighting makes a huge difference? Like this looks way better than yesterday. But I'm basically just gonna take the ends off, both ends, and then I cut it into, so cut it like this, cut it like this. And they shrink a lot, but like you see, oh my God, there's a dead bug. Can you see that? Oh my God. Ooh, it's a dead bug. Okay, so that's why you need to clean in between the leaves. So the quinoa actually looks really good. You can see that most of the water is absorbed, but at the bottom, I still see a little, so I'm gonna take a risk and keep it a little longer, but I'm on standby. Like I'm not leaving near here anytime soon. Over here, most of the bok choy is washed, but now this container is a little small, so I'm gonna just wash it, and then whatever's left, I'll continue to cut. Over here, we have a Rocky that wants to come inside, but is stuck outside. Rocky, go! But he's not gonna go. And then over here, so the 25 minutes finished, and then this is what it's at right now. Although it looks like burnt, it's really not. It's kind of like a smoky, yeah, you could say it's burnt, but it tastes delicious because it's like charred on the outside and sweet on the inside. I'm trying to get a little bit more crispy, but I could be ruining them, but no. See, it's just getting to the crispiness we want. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna turn it off here. Let it sit in the heat while I finish what I'm doing. Okay, so to my side, I have some washed bok choy, which it seems like I need to still cut some into smaller pieces like this. It's a quarter piece. I don't know why it's not focusing very well, but I'm gonna cut that again in half so it kind of breaks up the layers. And then whatever I cut and it's in good pieces is gonna go here, and I'll continue to keep my junk over here, which you can't see anyway, so who cares? Okay, so over here, it just makes it easier when you're cooking. And then I'm also gonna check the cookedness and for any bugs, because you know how we feel about dumb bugs. It's a little tall, but I think it's okay because it's gonna shrink. So yeah, like these ones. I'm okay with single strands. It's more so these ones that are like have the core. So just go through those. How is everyone's day going? As I get closer and closer to being done, man, I feel good. And the thing is, when I first did it, like the first night I was motivated. The second night when it came to like cooking everything, I'm like, I don't know. And even today, like I've been munching on food. I've been just being a delinquent. And the thing is, when I don't have my food ready, it's so much easier to just eat my mom's food or eat out with the family or do whatever everyone else is doing. You know what I mean? It's like I'm not thinking for myself because I'm eating whatever the squad's eating. So when I have my food, it's easier for me to say no. I'm going to eat my own food. Okay, so I'm gonna continue on with this. I know they look really big. I wonder if I'm regretting my decision, but I think it'll be okay, only because they really do shrink down. You'd be so surprised. And there you have it. I washed bok choy. Okay, let's see if I messed this up. Okay, I see way less water now. The bottom is still clear. So I'm gonna take this off now. Turn it off. Okay, so we got the bok choy in. You want to safely remove the lid, especially if it's the wrong lid. Okay. In camera fogging. So see how that piece is getting brown at the bottom? I just want these to reduce a little bit more before I start adding my flavoring. So I'm gonna eventually season with pepper, soy sauce, a little bit of sesame oil, and oyster sauce. So I'm gonna bring those up right now. So I don't know if it was recording, but I added a little bit of hoisin sauce. Just a little bit of sesame oil. So it shrunk like crazy and I'm pretty happy with the color. So I'm gonna take it off now and then put in the next batch. Over here in the back burner, I'm gonna grab this and fill it up with a bit of water, and I'm gonna add just a tiny bit of edamame because it does not stay in the fridge very well. So I'm just gonna add literally probably to the first line of water and add half the bag of edamame while this is cooking, and we are literally done. That's crazy. So there's some water in there, and turn it on. Okay, that's on. Add a bit of salt. This is just the edamame water. Mix it around. So this is the edamame that I use. I just get it from the Asian grocery store in the frozen section. I still have so much of the bag left, it's just that it doesn't stay well. The macros, if you care, are half a cup is 110 calories, 4.5 grams of fat, 9 grams of carbs, and 9 grams of protein. So, not bad. This is our last two things going on. It's still not as reduced as we like, but like this. Give a good little shaky shake. So there's some bottom pieces getting color. Put the lid on for a little bit longer and go from there. So same thing as before, we're gonna add a little bit of pepper. We're going to add a little bit of salt. Going to add a drizzle of sesame oil. So like a couple little droplets, nothing crazy. Same thing with hoisin sauce. Just 1 squeeze, 2 squeeze, 3 squeeze. See how the edamame is raising to the top? I just taste tested one and it's pretty good. It's still remaining crunchy. And remember, all of this food, when I heat it up for lunch, like say I add it to a salad, it's going to cook it a little bit more. So I'm gonna turn off the temperature. Over here I have this little strainer. So I'm gonna strain it immediately and then run cold water and then let it sit here for a second. I basically ran it under cold water, under this colander, and then I put it on top of the turned off pot and stove just so that it can cool down. So it looks like this. Nothing crazy. It's pretty tasty. You get it at sushi and you have to like work for it because it's in the pod. That's a bird's eye view of everything that I meal prepped, and I can't believe that this literally just 6 dishes took me freaking like 500 years. Basically a day and a half, like 2 days worth of it, but slack. Okay, so this one over here is a chipotle chicken, standard, tried and true. Over here is sweet potatoes. I don't know why it looks like it's burnt. I mean, I guess it is technically, but it's so delicious. It's like crispy on the outside, chewy on the inside, like perfect for salads. Over here is cilantro lamb chicken. I've actually never tried it before, but I think I'm gonna use this. Oh, interesting. Very limey and cilantro-y. I would probably add this on my salads. It's like kind of like a different flavor of this. This is kind of spicy Mexican. This is kind of like fun Mexican. I don't know how to explain it. Over here is quinoa cooked in chicken broth. It's a little not the texture that I want it to be, but it's not actually not that bad. Like when you look at it like that, it's really tasty. So I'll tell you how I plan to eat it in a second. And then over here is edamame, also really good. And then over here is bok choy. I'm missing soy sauce, which would add that je ne sais quoi, but it's okay. What are you gonna do? So different examples of what you could have. So basically quinoa could be the base. If I want to eat my mom's food, I can have quinoa instead, or I could have quinoa like on top of my salad, just like sprinkle a little bit of this. Edamame is always on top of salads, but I can always eat on the side with quinoa over here, bok choy on another side, even sweet potatoes on another side. I can have these chickens there, which I don't usually prefer. I prefer chickens in like salads, tacos, tortillas, whatever. And then if I made like a pork chop or someone in my family made another type of meat, I can have any of these sides and just mix and match. So, and that way anyone can eat whatever they want. And yeah, the only thing I didn't make is Greek chicken, but I'm just gonna try something new today. And yes, I'm doing this outside. So my brother and my mom set this up. It's basically Taco Tuesday, build your own. Sour cream, salsa. That's a chipotle chicken that I made earlier. And then I'm assuming there's some, yeah, tacos in there.